Now we will start our discussion around while loop. What is while loop exactly? Okay. We have already seen the for loop. Let's try to understand what will be your while loop. A while loop is also a loop in Java. Now, why Java has given you two types of loop? For loop was already there, right? Why Java has given you while loop? So while loop is mostly used in the scenarios where you don't know the termination condition. So in case of for loop, we used to write int I is equal to 0, I is less than 10, something like that. Then I plus plus. So the termination condition was quite clear to us, right? But while loop are usually mostly used in the scenarios where termination condition is not that clear. One example would be just create an infinite while loop while true. That means you don't know the termination condition. Based on certain scenarios, you will terminate your program. It is an infinite loop. So in case of infinite loops, right, you should go with a while loop. Okay. Now let's try to understand the syntax of while loop, how while loop is exactly written. So for that, we will recall our discussion around for loop. In for loop, what was the first part? Yes, the first part was initialization. Second part was your condition. And third part was your increment decrement. Same holds true for your while loop also. So how many times did we perform initialization? Once. So that is why initialization will be done outside the loop in case of while. Now we have a condition. Condition and increment decrement will be done till the time loop holds true. So that is why in case of while loop, with the keyword while, you will write your condition. This will be your condition. Now define the scope of a while loop with the help of curly bracket. Inside this curly bracket, you will have your statement to be executed. Statement. And then after that, your increment decrement operation, that is I plus plus. In this particular scenario, we will consider an increment decrement to be I plus plus. Yes. So this is how you will define your while loop. Now let's convert this while loop to a normal code. This was just the syntax. Let's convert it to a normal program. Okay, we will have our increment. Then let's have a while loop, while condition I is less than, let's say 4. Till the time I is less than 4, we will print the value of I. So let's have a print statement. Println I, then I plus plus. Okay. Now we will try to understand the same logic with the help of a flow chart. Okay. So I'll just write down the code, what exactly we have understood. I is equal to 0, initial value. Then after that, we have our condition as I less than 4. Then print. This is your condition. Print, then I plus plus. Yes, this is how our program is, right? Let's convert this to flowchart and we will try to do the dry run around that. Okay. So first part is your increment. Increment task. Post increment is done, we will have our loop. Loop will begin. So first of all, you will check for the condition. Now, either the condition can hold true or it will become false. So this is scenario when it becomes false, and here it will go when it becomes true. In case it is true, we will have a print. And post the print, we will have increment. Once you have incremented the value, it will loop back to your condition. Okay. So let's do a dry run on this flowchart. Okay. So first of all, you will do the increment. How many times initialization will be done? Only once. You will initialize the value. Now you will check the condition. I is equal to 0. Is 0 less than 4? Yes, that holds true. So we will enter inside our loop, print the value and increment the value of I will be printed as 0. Incremented value of I will become 1. Again, in the loop, check the condition. Is 1 less than 4? That is also true. Print the value of I, that is 1, and increment it. Incremented value of I will be 2 now. Go back to your loop. Check the value. Is 2 less than 4? That is also correct. Print the value as 2. Increment the value to 3. Again, check the condition. Is 3 less than 4? That is also correct. Print the value of 3. Increment the value of 4. Is 4 less than 4? Is that correct? No, 4 cannot be less than 4. So it is false now. Since it is false, we will come out of the loop. This is your outside the loop statement. So this is how you will do the while loop and how while loop works. Let's write some basic program related to while loop. For that, we will use the concept or the program related to Little Prince. Let me explain what this Little Prince problem statement is. So there is a prince, and this prince, right, he wants you to print the star symbols. So the first part is, prince will give you a count, number of stars count. Let's say he has given you count as 10. So basically your task is to print 10 star symbols. This is your task. Now the second task what prince has given you, he will give you a number n. Whatever be the number n, you have to print alphabets in numbers from that number. Let's say he has given you n is equal to 10. So basically you have to print all the numbers starting from 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10 if n is equal to 10. Over here also, if number of stars is equal to 10, you have to basically print 10 star symbol. 10 stars. This is your task. So let's start with the first part. Let's start with the first program. So we will start with our normal while loop. First of all, let's create a variable int I is equal to 1. While I is less than equal to number of stars, we will print system.out.println a star symbol and then increment the value of I++. We will take our same example of 10 and try to run this program. So we are able to print 10 star symbol. Yes. Let's solve the second problem now. In the second one also, we will start from I is equal to 1. We will have a while loop while I is less than equal to n. System.out.println I and then I++. This problem statement is count to hide. So let's run this and validate. We are able to print the numbers from 1 to 10. So these two were some basic problems which we have solved with the help of while loop. Let's do a somewhat advanced problem now. So for that, we will switch to Cryo platform. Let me explain the problem statement to everyone. Okay. The problem statement is, given the number, given an integer n, you have to find the nth Fibonacci number. So basically our task is to find the nth Fibonacci number. So before we start with the problem, right, let me explain you guys what is Fibonacci number. Let's understand that. So Fibonacci number, the first 0th Fibonacci number is always 0. The first Fibonacci number is 1. Let me repeat myself. The 0th Fibonacci number is always 0. the first Fibonacci number is always 1. Now, after that, it will be sum of last two numbers. What is the sum of last two numbers? 0 plus 1 is 1. So your second Fibonacci number is 1. Again, what will be the next Fibonacci number? Sum of last two numbers. So 1 plus 1, which will become 2. What will be your next Fibonacci number? Sum of last two numbers. 1 plus 2. So it will become 3. The next Fibonacci number will be 2 plus 3. So that is equal to 5. Similarly, next one would be 8 and so on. So always 0th Fibonacci number will be 0. First Fibonacci number will be 1. After that, it will be sum of last two numbers. Everyone clear with the Fibonacci numbers? Now, your task is to find out nth Fibonacci number. So whatever is the n value given here, you have to find out nth Fibonacci number. Let's try to understand the solution with the help of whiteboard, and then we will switch to coding. Okay, so we understood this part. 0th Fibonacci number will be 0. Then after that, it will be first Fibonacci number will be 1. And then it will be sum of all the remaining numbers. So let's write the 0th and 1. 0th number will be always 0. First will be always 1. Okay. So if n is given as 0, you will return 0 directly. If n is given as 1, n is basically you have to find out nth Fibonacci number. So if someone will ask you to find 0th Fibonacci number, it will be always 0. If someone will ask you to find first Fibonacci number, it will be always 1. Yes. So 0th and 1, we all know that. Now, we will have a loop, right? In a loop, we will always find out. Let's create some variable. Num0, that is your 0th Fibonacci number will be 0. Num1, that is your first Fibonacci number will be 1. We have stored it in a variable now. Now, in a loop, we will try to find out the upcoming Fibonacci number. So let's move to the second position. So in your loop from the second position onward, we will create an output variable. So output will become in a loop. So for the second position, at the second position, your output will be sum of your previous two. Yes. So it will become 0 plus 1, which is equal to 1. Also, you will need to replace your num0 and num1, right? It should always store the previous two numbers. Yes. So now your 0th number needs to point to 1. Yes. And your num1 needs to point to this particular one, right? That is nothing but your output. Yes. To find out the next number, it has to point to the previous two. Okay. Let's go to the next index. At next index, in order to calculate your output, we will calculate num0 plus num1. That is 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. Now we got our output. But now my num0, instead of this one, it has to point to the new one, which is nothing but your num1. And your num1 will start pointing to your output, which is equal to your 2. Yes, you will have to basically just move your pointer, right? These two should also be moved. It should always point to the previous two numbers. That's what we are trying to do here. So your num0 has to be replaced with num1, and num1 will be replaced with output. Yes. So this is how we will replace the values every time. Okay. Let's convert the same logic to the Java code now. If n is equal to 0, we all understood this. If n is equal to 0, that means we have to return 0th Fibonacci number. So what will be our output? 0. Similarly, if n is equal to 1, we have to return 1. So these two are my edge cases. If n is equal to 0, it will be always 0. If n is equal to 1, it will be always 1. Now let's initialize all the three variables. Int num0 is equal to 0. Int num1 will be equal to 1. Int output. Output here will be also equal to 0. Initially, we will consider our output to be 0. Now, we got the 0th Fibonacci number, first Fibonacci number. So my loop will start from second index onward. Or let's consider the loop to be while loop. Let's create an index variable. Index will be starting from 0 to y. Index is less than equal to n. My output will be sum of previous two number, that is num0 and num1. Now, num0 will be traversed by one index, so it will become num1. Num1 will also traverse by one index, so it will become output. We will increment our index at the end. And at the end, we will return our output. Let's do our dry run. Let's consider a sample case where your n is equal to 3. We will take the same case, whatever is given over here. N is equal to 3. Is n equal to 0? Is 3 equal to 0? Is that true? No. Is 3 equal to 1? No. So we will initialize our variable num0 is equal to 0 and num1 will be initialized with 1. Your output will be initialized with 0 and index will be initialized with 2. We will do a check now. Is 2 less than equal to 3? Is this correct? Yes, that is correct. So enter inside my loop. So my output will be num0 plus num1. So it will be basically 0 plus 1. What is the output now? 1. Now your num0 will be replaced with num1. So it will become 1. Even your num1 will be replaced with output. So my output is 1. So it will be replaced with 1. Increment the index. So index will become 3 now. We will again perform the check. Is 3 less than 3? Less than equal to 3? Yes, that is also correct. So your output will be num0 plus num1. Some num0 plus num1 is basically 1 plus 1. Just see here. It is equal to 1 plus 1. So 1 plus 1 will become 2. Now your num0 will be initialized with num1. What is the value present in num1? It is 1 only. So it will be initialized with 1. Num1 will be replaced with output. What is the value present in output? 2. Increment the index. Index will be incremented to 4. Again perform this check. Is 4 less than equal to 3? Is that correct? No. Since the condition is false now, we will come outside the loop and return the output. So my output as of now is equal to 2. So 2 will be returned. Let's run our code and validate the output. Yes. So we are able to run it for all the test cases. This was the problem related to while loop. So we have seen multiple problems related to while loop, at least 3 or 4 problems. This wraps up our discussion around the while loop concept. Thank you.